That was all
Okay.
music.
Yo,
Known for this entire stream.
not, nothing,
Should
nothing
we just
changed.
should we
Doesn't
just play that?
program.
It's the
No, and then fucking the worst shit would come on after that.
nothing changes. Everything's the same.
So
Welcome to
we are
the
on. By the way, we are live right now,
Okay.
Right.
and yeah, we'll slowly start picking it up. As in, we'll start asking questions.
Awesome.
I just make a quick introduction, do basic formalities, so set the tone for today, and then yeah, then we can go on.
Sure.
So yeah, welcome everyone, as in four of y'all who are watching. This people will keep joining, and we also the video stays on our YouTube and Jamsteady page, so people can watch it later as well. I'll also make it into a podcast, so people can hear the audio version of it. Um so the idea for this was that every Sunday, like for me also, it was personally missing all the action for the past 2 years. So the idea was to get in touch with friends, musicians, and talk about things around music, what we missed, what we can look forward to, all the things around music. Basically, it's called In the Mix. It's brought to you by Jamsteady and Topcat CCU. Today we have four of my friends who I've worked very closely with, um, and I'm super excited to talk to all of you after so long. The last time I met, I remember I did one interview. That was my first interview actually, at Mumshi's place. It was like a real with physical people, you guys in the room, and I was talking.
Yeah.
And this is the second one, and a lot has changed
Was that
since
the
then.
album launch one?
It was the album launch one.
Right,
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's still on YouTube, right?
It's on YouTube, but it's on one of our other channels which no one knows about.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Okay.
some,
That's where
yeah.
we exist, where no one knows us.
So, so maybe I think I'm planning to maybe download it and put it up again. Whatever, we'll see if we want to do that. But today is going to be just maybe just talking to you guys about what you guys have been up to and speak about what all stuff we've done in the past and all the crazy things. But let me start by just asking how are you guys doing? How's your Sunday doing? How's the pandemic situation? Chotu, I know you're in Australia, so your time zone is different. But please, anyone, you all can. Nitin, maybe start with you.
Yeah, things are okay. Gigs are like pretty much not there now,
Yeah.
but I have some other work which I'm busy with apart from music, so that keeps me going right now. But yeah,
Cool.
everyone's hopeful that tomorrow is going to be a better day. Times.
Yeah, we can only hope.
Yeah.
Chotu, what about you, man? How are you doing?
I'm all right. Been living in Australia now for almost 2 years, maybe 2 years and about 3 months.
Hmm.
Trying to do things in between spurts of lockdown and it being open. And yeah, getting by.
Cool. Mamshi, what's happening with you in Goa?
Are you allowed to moan over here, or do we have to make it all like happy and
No,
nice?
no, no, no,
Or
no,
we
no. You can say whatever,
You can say
whatever you
whatever.
want.
Say
No,
whatever.
to be fair, I can't moan about my situation. I've been in Goa the last 3 years and through the pandemic and stuff. And obviously, that's much better than being in the city. So I've been privileged that way. But no, I mean, I can't say it's been good. I don't
Hmm.
think it's been good for anyone really. But I think now it's like a question of surviving, I guess. Now,
Yeah.
so I think I'm surviving well. I'm in a better place. Maybe Chodu might be in a better place, but I think not being in a city, being around green and nature and shit like that. That's really been helpful, I'd say. So much so that everyone's like picking up on that plan and now moving here, which is not helping.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, man, it's all right. I haven't played a gig in 4 years, so I've
Oh,
anyway. Um,
Hmm.
so for me, it's been a while. So I've left that light behind in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
you
But it's
sound
been,
like a sage.
uh,
You sound like
yeah,
a sage. Left that life behind.
yeah, you know, that's how I
Yeah.
feel right now, dude. Hermit.
Rohan, what
Four
about
years.
Rohan? I've been in touch with I think the most frequently. So
That's right. Yeah.
what's up? What's happening with Rohan? I know you've been teaching a lot and all that. Tell
Yeah.
us, tell us, tell us.
Just same things, dude. Like a lot of students, and I've done a lot of studio work for this time because that's the only thing which I can do really, given how everything is. So I've set up studio kind of a space at home, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, record. Uh, so that's what I've been doing mostly, and some jingle work here there. Doing everything I can to float and hope to get back to.
Yeah, and you
When
also
do, when do you, Nishit, think? Sorry, I know I'm
no, no,
hijacking
no,
your
no, no.
view,
Please, please.
but when do you think gigs are gonna start? So I had a few gigs lined up for this year. Obviously, that all got canned. And
Hmm.
I've been working on my album with Niti, and and
Yeah,
all the guys are playing on it in some form or the other. But I
right.
decided to put it off. Obviously, I was going to release it this year, but I
Yeah,
decided to put it off because there's no gigs. And there's no point in releasing an album. I feel at least right now where you can't gig behind it because it's just going to get lost in a sea of fucking music and things that people are. Everyone's releasing shit, obviously, because everyone's
y-
sitting at home. But
yeah.
I mean, what I feel is like the content kind of like, I mean, it becomes content rather than like art and something you can experience. And so you need the gigs for that. So when do you think the gigs are going to start? I have to plan my life accordingly.
No
That's a trick.
pressure on
Yeah.
on answering that question. He has to
Ah,
plan his life around that, but no pressure.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think. I mean, I don't think anyone has an answer. In
right.
fact, just before the second wave, we had started doing gigs um, at Topcat and at Skinny Mose as well, and we were doing limited capacity. But you know how it is. It's never limited
But tell
capacity.
me, wasn't it always limited capacity at gigs?
So so actually, in a way, it actually works because, like what you're saying is absolutely right. It was always limited capacity,
But now
but
you have
now,
an excuse. Hey man, there's not that many people here. It's COVID.
yeah, and now we were like feeling proud of it. We're actually limited capacity, fuckers. So this is the real deal. Yeah, and also,
And we
during
played. I played a gig with Pelican Shuffles. You know that five of us played together.
yeah, 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 yeah,
So the was allowed. I think 60 people or something. I don't remember how much
yeah,
what the
yeah,
figure
yeah.
was.
Right.
60 or something like that. Yeah, but I think there were more than 150 people there.
Hmm.
That's quite a lot of
And
people.
yeah, it was
And
packed. It was fully
where was
packed
it? Was there like an online gig?
No,
at Top
no,
Cat. No, no,
Top
at Top
Cat.
Oh,
Cat.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. As in the last time we started doing gigs. We also I mean, I was speaking to many bands and we said if we are going to do gigs, let's not do it at the price we were doing before. Anyway, we'll be doing less. Let's hike the price to a very high, like a not a very high, but at least at a decent price. And whoever really wants to come will come, and if they don't come, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
So we tried, then it actually worked. I mean, there were people who were so
Yeah.
like Rohan was saying, if we were capping the tickets at 60 on the last day, everyone started calling and they're like, "Man, the tickets are sold out. We all want 10 more tickets, 5 more tickets." I'm like, actually, this is working.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Maybe this should have been a strategy from
No,
before.
you know the
Fucking great.
the thing is the thing. I'm not going to complain about anything, but what's happened is like in Bombay, you have to
Hmm.
pay for every gig, no matter whatever the level of the gig is. If it's
Hmm.
at a small cafe, you still pay for it. If it's at a better venue, you still pay for it. So people have the idea that if they want to go for anything, you have to pay for it. Okay. Where over
Yeah.
here, what had happened is they're taken it for granted to a point where it's going to be free. So if you charge even a nominal amount, it's like how dare you?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I mean, that model never fucking worked, man, even back then.
Yeah.
And frankly speaking, that's only a Calcutta model and expectation. Everywhere on this planet, people pay for gigs. I mean,
Yeah.
how film is
yeah,
going to work, how
this is true.
artists going to survive. So, if that is that, I'm glad that that mentality was rooted out of their heads, at least in some way.
No, you know what? Because nothing was happening, people
Yeah.
ended up paying for what they miss. Because people miss it.
Yeah, and I also
Everyone.
feel like we when we put it out, when we start valuing our things more, I mean,
Yeah.
in a way, then you send that message out.
Yeah.
It might be a little difficult in the beginning, but I think it kind of comes back to you in the way you expect. Not 100%, but
Mm.
even with Skinny Mo's, we were doing 25 people, the jazz club, and we were pairing it with a food experience. The tickets were about 15 to 1700 rupees a ticket, and on the day, people would call us, say, "Please let us give us 5 more tickets." And I was like, "Man, what is going wrong? It used to be the other way around. Like, please come to our gigs."
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
So, so that
I
was
think
like
it's
1,500 bucks food and booze, or just.
no booze, only food and the gig. Yeah,
I mean, that's reasonable, I guess. What,
it
like a
is
three?
reasonable.
Yeah. Well, okay, that's good. I mean, yeah. I mean, see, this whole concept has to change. I mean, I don't know if this pandemic is going to help that, but not
Yeah.
paying these gigs. Why would anyone fucking want to be a musician and play and make a career out of it if they can't earn by even playing their music, man? That's just, it makes no sense. I don't know how that works, man. It's like, I'll go eat at your new restaurant for free.
Yeah.
Mickey. Mickey says you guys are way off tempo and out of
I'm
tune.
gonna, yeah, I'm gonna bring his because it'll be a good way to.
It was his,
That's
it
good.
was his
No,
birthday
hearing that.
yesterday.
Oh
Yeah.
Happy
yeah,
birthday!
happy birthday, Meeti.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
Hmm. He's chilling in the south right now. So,
Right, right.
actually, fucking having him around has been actually the best, man. Fucks, I swear to God. Whatever little recording and shit we've been doing, he lives right down the road from me. His house is being built 1 minute walk from where I currently
Don't
stay.
rub it in. Don't rub it in.
I think we should all shift to Goa. I mean, I know
Yeah.
it doesn't
You
sound.
made already, dude. It's already happened.
It's already happening.
You'll see everyone at Phoenix and Muskini Mo's all in Anjuna, Magar.
So
No, but
okay,
I guess yeah.
no, go for it.
No, I was saying that I think maybe the pandemic will make people a little more respectful about a performance. Like because of the lack of it or whatever it is. Maybe I'm just guessing, and then they
Maybe
would they would
maybe is
understand
the
that
right word.
you have to pay to uh, watch a gig. Because anyways it was far and few.
Yeah.
Let's hope that habit changes.
I mean,
When
like
someone has to pay for something, then they really fucking appreciate it, no matter
yeah,
what.
This is true. This is true.
So until they fucking, if it's for free, dude, they anyway don't have any respect for what they're fucking getting, dude.
yeah. But
So yeah,
for what Nitin is saying, I mean, I remember during the first lockdown when people were still shocked and all that stuff was going on. People were putting post of how the world has turned beautiful, ducks are on the road, and the nature's kind of healing. And as soon as the lockdown was open, people went back to destroying everything.
that
Like,
nature hurting itself.
That,
yeah.
they're all
So
picking ducks.
yeah, I don't have so much hope in that sense. But I think if we collectively push for that thing that okay, no more free shit, no more, all that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That fucking model has to fucking die. Nothing's for free in life, and neither is fucking music and art. But I don't know. Calcutta does it change? I don't know. Nishad, you'll be the best one.
Calcutta, does it change? I don't know, man. It's difficult. It's difficult to answer. Also, I think last 2 years has been so. I mean, it has changed so much. Like to be honest, like even for me who was like out every day, now going out is such a big task. Like to
Yeah.
think about going out and meeting people is like just like, oh my god, do I really have to do that?
Yeah,
So
no.
that, yeah. So to go back to a gig scene is gonna, I think, will be a bit of a challenge to be honest.
I had
But
suggested this many years back. Musicians and promoters in Calcutta should start a union and go on strike when no one plays.
Against whom?
Anyone, fucking go on gig and fucking pay or we don't play.
We are on
There'll
we are
always
on
be some kid who'll play for free, dude.
we are
Like,
on strike and we will not play until you pay us.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
okay, I'm gonna ask you one question which I want each of you all to answer. with your experiences of whatever y'all are doing right now. From let's take it from the time when we were doing the Jamsteady Princeton Club days, with the Supersonics being full bloom, playing everywhere, to now the scene that you have us experiencing through whatever. You could be watching it on YouTube, or just hearing about gigs happening, or you actually playing. What change have you seen? Not just talking about the pandemic in general. What do you think that has changed?
Uh,
Chotu or Nitin, whoever wants to take it.
Okay, I'll
Go
tell
for
you
it.
first. I'll tell you. Yeah. See what happened before, like the jam study time. Since we were testing on new songs, we had a platform to try out new songs, and there were people who would like come and you would understand the appreciation of a new song. You've just done the song, it's red hot, and then then these festivals used to happen. Now it all looks like some Alice in Wonderland kind of a thing. Those music festivals. So that a gig at the Jam Steady helped us to like, increase our bank of songs, because it's something to look forward to. Maybe once in 2 weeks, or in a month at least, you have a place to perform your own music.
Hmm.
And then we tried on at bigger places, at bigger venues. But here you don't even know where to, like now what will happen is you have to start off with full production straight away. I don't know
Hmm.
how long it's going to take to get to that level.
Anyone else wants to add to that? Like, I want to from like Rohan has been actively gigging. Uh, you know,
Yeah.
what change do you see in the scene as such? Not with the I'm not taking pandemic as a.
Well, I can speak from a different point of view,
I
really.
mean,
I kind
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
no go go
Go-
go go.
No, no, say, I'll say.
Well, okay, I kind of left Cal 3 years back, right?
Hmm.
And I personally got kind of fed up because the sort of music I wanted to hear live, okay, I couldn't find in Cal. Okay, I'm mainly a song kind of guy. I like songs, I like melody, I like a structure to it, and I like a band which can give me the ability to remember some melody, some words at the end of the day. I think when we started off, everything was kind of new, but I
Hmm.
think there was an attempt by bands back then, whether that's us, the Scenes, because there were a couple of bands, that made a genuine attempt to create songs, And the thing is, as a listener, if you go into a pub, okay, and I'm not putting down any of the jazz stuff and whatever Latin stuff or the EDM stuff, but at the end of the day, for a bunch of people going to gigs regularly or following a band, if they know the songs that they can sing along to and relate to in some way, that creates a scene. I mean, and what happens is when you create a scene, then those events start becoming a cool place to hang out and come to and meet up, because you're meeting other like-minded people there, and everyone has something to take away from it. I think that kind of started, I hate to say this, but that kind of started dwindling once we kind of were no more, because instead of bands trying to make songs, it became more like, all right, we don't have enough songwriters, so we're going to do maybe improvisational music, Latin music. I mean, obviously, the whole electronic music thing was already on the rise, and that's all great for a party and everything, but I don't know. I mean, can anyone really hum a tune after any of those gigs? I mean, I find it hard to do so. So I don't know. So I mean, personally for me, I got fried with that. That's why I fucking left, to be honest. I came to Goa, and it was basically what Calcutta was like when the Supersonics started, which is mainly a cover gig scene, which has its
Hmm.
own set of problems. Um, but to me personally, I think, and now obviously with the pandemic, I think songwriting and being in a band becomes that much harder. So I
Hmm.
don't know what the future holds on that front, but yeah, maybe Rohan can elaborate on that because he's
Hmm.
in the story.
Yo, Rohan.
So,
Rohan is chilling.
no, yeah, I can understand what Vamshi is saying. The thing is, what I have noticed back in the day when Supersonics had just started, we used to work towards making our own material as a we want to do, and because we wanted to play, we liked those songs, so we played those songs. Okay, but the idea was to always write our own music. Okay, and there was also Cassini's division that time, and there were
There
hopefully
was
there were
Span,
Hopeful.
yeah, there were a lot of
Yeah,
kids of Span
there
who were
were
doing their own songs.
yeah,
Everyone started doing their own music after it.
Yeah.
That
even
became there was a standard suddenly set where everyone's like,
yes,
okay, fuck, man, this works. We can all jump on this back. And it was great because,
yeah,
maybe the Supersonics were rock and roll, but then you had Cassinis, which were completely different, and Rufui completely different, and Stan completely different, and Neil and the Light Bulbs completely different, and Five
Yeah.
Little Indians. And, I mean, there were a lot of fucking Ganesh talking, whatever. Like, there were quite a lot. At one point, there were a lot of bands from Cal,
this is
and
true.
all the
I mean,
bands.
what I had noticed is around that time, the number of bands which were in the and all of them were distinct. The same song. None of like Mamshi's name.
Right.
There was Skinny Ali. There was Nishay,
yeah.
and
Of course, yeah. Yeah.
and then there was Rivu's band that time. I forgot the band. And there was Ganesh Talkies, and so basically no one sounded the same, even though very small geographically. Because it's not like
But
it's not like so.
but
So
the thing was,
yeah,
if you were from Calcutta and you went for a festival where there were bands from other cities playing, and if you were a Calcutta band, they have this perception that you're going to hear something interesting. It came to a point.
this is true. This is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was intent. That's what I'm saying. There was a certain intent amongst musicians.
No, what my point was is that a lot of people came in to that kind of a bandwagon. They all joined in because they saw it's possible. I think Tata, I forget the name. What was it called? Vijit's band. Tata's,
But the
Shubhadeep was guitar.
Live,
Shubhadeep
man,
was on
Camouflage.
no.
camouflage,
Sapphire or something.
Sapphire.
Anyway,
Sapphire.
Sapphire, yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of bands like that, they started writing their own material. What we were doing. And
Yeah.
I know Pelican Shuffles. They liked what was doing.
So that's the
So I know a lot of bands joined up and did this. One thing, the moment, and I'm not taking credit here for any of us, but disbanded for the last. Right after that, I saw all the festivals finished, all the bands disappeared. All of a sudden, there's no one. Maybe few of them.
no. That's
I don't know
the
if you
thing,
guys have
right?
noticed this or not.
No, man. Like, I
Also,
think it's
apart from,
inspiring to hear songs. That's what I was saying, right? You remember melody. You remember. You see other people singing. That's a great scene, dude. If I go and
Yeah.
see fucking guitar player A taking a solo, then keyboard player B taking a solo, and drummer taking a solo. After that, it's just a lot of solos, dude. I don't remember anything of that gig, frankly
You
speaking.
get to the bass solo, man.
Huh? I heard there's a only bass player band. I mean, I think that's the only one that exists on planet Earth, maybe.
Spinal Tap.
Wow.
Spinal Tap.
They should ban these kind of ventures. Anyways.
But yeah, but I
Also,
mean,
that time, if you remember, there was stuff happening apart from the music scene also, which was quite interesting, and there was like signs of hope. Like Kanti and Tana were doing tin can and doing theater and stuff, which was also quite interesting and quite like uh, I don't know if it's new in theater. I don't know that much about theater, but they were doing stuff that was interesting, that was exciting. Uh, and then somehow all of that also
Just
took
disappeared.
its because sort of life caught up with everyone, and for
I
whatever
don't know if it's
reason,
life caught up or no, but it just suddenly ended. And it just
Yeah.
like everything ended, not just the bands. Like I'm just saying, like the festival stopped all across the country. Not right after, but like little after that. But even bands, like I don't know how many bands are there right now as we speak. I can't
Yes.
I
I don't
wouldn't
remember.
say that's us necessarily more than the economics that equate to being in a band. It's firstly
Yeah.
four people, four different egos, four different attitudes. It's hard enough dealing with that. Then the producer has to pay four different tickets. I think once the MacBook Pros went like duo core two duo chips and shit, that was the end of fucking bands, dude. Especially drummers, dude. I think they got the first to fucking get
No,
replaced.
yeah, difference, So the biggest difference I see right now is that
Like your hornbill.
they're more into they're more into collaboration than actually band together and growing together as a band. They just want to collaborate and then leave, making the investment that it takes to create good music or art of any kind. Because it takes
Is
time
that
Mm.
and it takes a lot of effort and energy, and you to be committed to it irrespective of whatever, which I don't
But
see right now.
it's not just that people are not willing to make the commitment. It's a different aesthetic that people are into. I
Yeah,
mean, not so many people even listen to bands in that sense. Like what we like about bands being bands is that, say, whatever, three people, four people, five people in that band make that sound, right? You can't have like a combination of those and somebody else making that same sound. It's those four or five people that make that sound. That's what you like about bands. That's one
yeah,
of the things you like about bands. People don't
yeah,
listen to music that way always.
yeah.
They
I don't.
listen to, I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this song from this guy, or I like what the way he or she sings, or whatever it is. So they don't listen to it. It's just a factor of the
Yeah,
time
I
age.
mean, when we all listen to all our favorite bands. I mean, we not like, oh, we don't like this band just because we like the guitar player. It's a combination of, I think, all the musicians doing something, and somehow, it all works. And for
Yeah,
that
I
to
mean,
work, it's not really magic. It means hard work, dedication,
of
moving
course.
towards that as a unit.
But then it's
the
in that
main
matter.
thing,
It's not like the
like
sum
the
of the parts. The sum of the parts of a band generally become. It's not like two and two become four. It's two and two, and that becomes five or six. Is when that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
magic is
No, my, my,
there.
my point was that, right now what I find is, because of probably social media reasons, but I find people don't have what it one thing for a long time. They would rather do one song and then release it as a single, or at best they'll make an EP which has like three or four songs,
Yeah.
and then they'll go and do something else. Then go something else. Soon there's a lot of material out there, but is it making that same impact? I don't think so, because you don't have a, I don't know, that longevity. It adds a lot of weight to whatever work you're doing.
It's just, I think, also like how people treat now the buzzword, the content, which we had spoken about in one of the episodes. Like it's become
Correct.
more like you have to produce content as opposed to a song, an art piece, where you
Yeah,
put
for sure,
time,
because the
effort.
art doesn't matter anymore, right? It's the
Yeah,
marketing, it's all that bullshit around it. I mean, that was
Yeah,
already
yeah.
happening pre-pandemic
it
already.
was. Yeah.
Beautiful people fucking making nonsense sells more than ugly people making meaningful shit.
Wait,
You're
let me write that
making
down.
you're making more dis content.
No,
Yeah,
actually,
That's a good one.
like I would like to also say that like when we were like
Younger.
just after maybe younger, okay, just after maybe making, or during heads up, there was a lot of activity around doing a gig. It isn't just like, okay, we got a gig, take up,
Yeah.
you make a poster, you want to, like, we had, I think I still have a folder with like 60 or 70
you
Supersonics
have
gig
all the
posters.
posters behind you,
Oh
right
yeah,
behind
oh
you.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
so then when we made an album,
So
also
do
we
I.
made
So
sure
do
that
I.
so there's a lot of
That's
so
no
yeah,
fool and no money.
no fool and Bob Marley. So yeah, so basically, like, even the album, like there were stickers, and like there was a lot of pop culture. I don't know what do we call it,
Hmm.
around. But you felt good because it was around your own music. It's not like you're making somebody else's music. So that you wanted to put in that extra effort to make it. I mean, it's all a cycle. It does not come from just the band or the audience.
No, because
So
that also mushrooms other things around the band,
yes,
right?
yes, yes,
People making the artwork, people making the videos, the promoters. There's some in industry that can happen around it. When it's that disjointed, where it's a one-off thing, like Rohan was saying, a collaboration. I hate that fucking word. I mean, what do you
see,
collaborate? But
see,
whatever. Then there's nothing because it's a one-time thing and then it's done. Nothing can really grow from that. You can't grow a scene. You can't grow anything with any heft behind it because it's there today on your Facebook or whatever feed and then tomorrow it's gone
yeah,
and
and there
nothing
are
you do.
there are some collaborators you don't even know which is their actual setup.
Yeah, uh, that's true.
Yeah. Definitely. But I think also, I mean, even though it's actually not so many years back, it's just we're talking about 7, 8, 9 years back. But I think
That's
the
what I
That's
said.
that's
pat-
that's a long time, man.
That's a long
7, 8.
time.
I
That's
Even
mean,
like a
longer
quarter
more
of
than
our
man.
lives, man, and a
I,
third of our sentient lives at least.
yeah, but in those 7, 8 years, this so much has changed. I feel. Obviously, I think the pandemic definitely has a huge part to play in the current situation, how we are thinking, and all that. But
True.
in terms of how people listen, experience has really changed. The internet, the Instagram, and the TikToks have really changed how things. Like today, if you want to make a song hit, you must make it a hit on one of these TikTok or
I'm
reels.
not on any of them. So much for.
Yeah,
I guess I'm not making any more hit songs then.
yeah.
No, but I think at the end of the day, like even in a very simplistic way, if you have like a good song,
Yeah.
and if more effort is put into making that song a good song, I mean, at least up to you,
Mhm.
then the rest of the masala around it uh, somehow takes care of itself. The problem nowadays is that the masala is more important. I
More.
mean, it's a very cliche thing that
Yeah, it's right.
what
What
do you
is
think?
right?
There's too
Yeah.
much pressure to create. Chalo, if I can't make like a 4 minute song, let me make a 30-second something.
I
Yeah.
think it's
As
like
long
the tail wagging the dog rather than the other way around. Like,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
So I guess if there's a
Yeah.
good song, there will be people to listen to it.
Arjun is saying it's now more about making a personal brand than a band.
Yeah, for sure.
Possible.
I
Mhm.
agree. I agree. I mean, at the end of the day, the whole thing with bands is right that on some level you've got to shelf your individual ego and serve the greater purpose of the band. I
Hmm.
think
Yeah.
people have realized that that's very hard to do. That's too much reliance on multiple other people for your self benefit, and people are like, "Fuck that," I'll just do it my own and reap all the
Also,
benefits. And
also like how we most people have that I know. So actually, a lot of them have a better like life online than in the real, like their reality.
the reality.
Online life,
That's why
yeah.
I don't know.
So now,
They project that it's better, but I don't. I
yeah. I
think
mean,
people who
yeah, it's
look
not.
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
that shit, they don't really
Yeah,
have
that's what I mean.
life.
No, so
It's a very
that projection that life is great is stronger than the actual like whatever's happening in their life. Okay.
reality.
Yeah. So for now, what happens is when you're in a band, you don't have that disguise anymore because you're interacting every day. There's nothing to hide. You know everything, and you operate out of a or on a plane where this is the plane where you operate, where everyone knows everything. The dynamics are set like that, and you create art on the ground of knowing everything. Not hiding behind a facade of like what looks good, what sounds better than all that. So now that has become important. Like what Nitin was saying, you know, that the content they're creating is not because something, just to stay relevant somehow, which doesn't make sense to me.
Also, like I've have this theory in my head, and I've been noticing, while doing gigs of various kinds. I do electronica, from rock and roll to metal to rap to Bangla folk, all of that. What I also feel is the difference now with the audience is the audience want to be the star more than the actual artists who are there. I mean, when I'm going to a gig right
Hmm.
now, I, for me the band is there. Okay, it's great because it's bringing music and all that. But I want to be there and take a video of myself telling
Yeah,
people I am there, so that people can say, "Oh wow, so cool! You have such a cool
absolutely.
life."
Yeah.
So
That
it
whole thing.
Yeah,
selfies and videos at gigs. I mean, thank God we didn't have that. We came from a time before that shit where people came to the gig, they had to listen to the music, and it
yeah,
was no distraction. Okay, whether you like it or
They
not,
had to listen.
they had to
yeah.
listen to it, or
It
you
changes things.
yeah, it
Yeah,
changes everything. You're bang on right, dude. But
mm.
I noticed this for a while though, man. I think, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. Of course, it's been happening for a
I
while.
I,
saw this at weekenders and stuff also, where suddenly people were walking around with selfie sticks 24/7.
yeah,
20 bands happening, but they're only filming themselves. And I mean,
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
seen
it's
people walking in with a camera and facing the band, and
yeah,
I think they must have lasted for 2 or 3 lines of the song in that particular place. But it's like checking in on your Google Map.
exactly. Yeah. So they want to be seen at all the cool places where they can take pictures. So
exactly, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
So I guess they will be like that
Sad
kind
part
of.
is sooner or later. Sad part is sooner or later you'll meet these guys and you realize what's going on. You know.
No, but I'm sure there will be people like that also.
wow.
Wow.
There will be people like that also at gigs now. We have to deal with.
Maybe you can't post this on your jams.
Maybe we should hide now.
Let's go back into hermit mode for another 4 years.
Okay, that's it, guys. That's the end of the show.
Okay, okay, man.
Okay, so tell me which
No,
is
but
tell me. Okay,
no,
please
no,
add. I'll
no,
ask
you
another
get-
question after
yeah.
that.
No, no,
No, no, Rohan, you want to say something? Please go
no,
ahead.
no, I'm done. No, no, it's fine.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you which has been your most memorable gig as Supersonics?
Oh, that's a tough one. Let me think.
Wow. We're kind of growing old, man. Memory is a thing of the past.
I would say a couple I can remember. I
Hmm.
would.
Please say.
There was one gig which we played at the Blue Frog,
Right.
and
Which
towards
one?
the gig where at the end of the gig everyone came on stage and started
Oh,
singing, yeah, whatever, like, I mean, it became like a party at the end of the day. Everyone was on stage, and we had the lightest explode guy played drums. So the whole gig was like a crescendo
Yeah, we
kind of.
got everyone, all our whatever friends and fans to
Yeah,
come.
and they were all singing the songs,
and
and on stage.
someone kicked my amp and it fell down. Okay,
That's your don't
That
tell us
was
your
Rono.
problems. And I think the
who,
second one would
who
be
was it? Runner.
this-
Rono.
Someone hit the amp and it fell down. Okay, and I think Mamshi had stopped playing by then, so I was trying a little bit and
Varun is saying the JB
done.
shock. The JU
It's
shock.
done. It's done.
Where are you
I-
guys reading that shit, man? Oh, there's a
Just
private.
go out to full screen mode and you should
The
even.
JU shock one. The one where we didn't play because I was
Yes,
gonna
the-
start. Yeah, fuck, and then they get out us in JU. Remember saying you have to play. Oh fuck, that was a bad.
There are two gigs that I really liked or had a good feeling of after the gig and during the gig also. One was the Zero gig, the last
Hmm.
Zero gig we did,
Oh yeah.
which is fantastic. And then, in fact, I like that Jamsteady, the 2015 that gig where
Yeah.
we just rehearsed for one day and then we played, and it felt
Right.
like
The
playing
the big Sunday. The big Sunday.
the Big
one.
Sunday. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That was a
fuck,
good
we
gig.
rehearsed literally one day before that gig. We hadn't played in that gig. That
And
was a
it
good gig.
really well.
That was a very good game.
That's
That was
my
a
last gig. That was
And
the
it
last.
felt like completely effortless to play that gig, and we
Yeah.
hadn't played in the longest time together.
That was
So
the last gig, so you went
That's
out to the
true.
bank.
Wow.
it felt surprisingly
Yeah.
lovely.
Hmm.
easy. It was easy. But yes.
Easy. Yeah.
But
Like
it
a
felt
good,
like,
I think there's a lot of bad vibes that gig. Actually, it didn't.
Sorry?
Underlying bad vibes. I mean,
Yes, there was. I'm not going to deny that. I'm just talking about the gig. The gig went nicely, and
no,
we
the
played.
gig was fine. In fact, Chotu sent me a recording of that gig, and I heard it. I was fucking. I was like, wow, I didn't know.
Hmm.
All right. I always used to think that people would.
There is a video
There
on
is.
YouTube. I think I don't know who's
Yeah, there
Kolkata.
is a video.
There is a video. It's very nice.
Yeah, which Niti is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's yeah.
Mm.
Actually, the truth of the matter is that he did the sound, and it was great sound
Yeah,
that day. That's
no
the
doubt.
reality. I think that's the other thing is that I think for musicians to really have a good time, I think they have to be comfortable with the sound on stage. That's something I think we were fighting for a long time. Because especially from venue to venue, it's not in your hands really. So when you leave that much to chance, it's probably going to be a shit gig over a good gig. So it's important to have someone do the sound properly so you can hear right, people outside can hear right. I mean, that was good sound. We had Niti doing the sound. Obviously, it was a great gig. It was a nice stage. It was everyone from Cal, whatever. I enjoyed that gig, even though like there was a lot of underlying shit going on. But yeah,
Mm. Yeah, yeah, it was. It was quite a memorable gig for sure. Uh, so tell me, what do you think worked for the Supersonic? As in, there was this like y'all had a tribe, right? Like we all. I mean, whenever I have been I was there at the Zero gig, and I was just like, wow. I mean, I was just so I was having such a great time as an audience. Usually if I was doing it as a organizer or a promoter, it's a different thing because you're doing multiple things and all that. But during the Zero gig, I felt so good just watching the gig, and y'all had managed to do that, connect with people. Like, uh, what do you think worked for the Supersonics? I know a lot of things didn't work, but let's go for
perseverance,
No,
patience.
let's
I have a
go with
I
what
have a
worked.
I have a story about this. So a lot of people don't know this. So this is about I don't even know how long, more than 10 years for sure. So this is the time when Mamshi had just I think it was soundcheck. Is it soundcheck? Was it soundcheck?
Uh,
Just before
Wired.
Supersonics were. I
There was
don't
this
remember.
band called Wired I had with Chupu, Neil, Chiro,
Right,
uh,
right. So
Page.
had just gotten out of Cognac. Cognac had just disbanded that time, and maybe a year or so. And there was one night where Mamshi and I sat together and heard one song. I think at least 30 times. Okay,
Way more, way
it,
more. 30 times means 90 minutes.
it
You
was.
heard that song for 5 hours. I know.
And
So let's forget.
we finished all. Then we got some flavored BDs.
Wikipedia.
We finished all the flavored BDs, and then only one song we heard was and Big Man by
Oh, man,
Toto.
man, man,
Yeah,
man.
to the Sprocket. So
Go
we
to
heard
that
that
song.
song, and we kept discussing. Why can't people write songs like this? It doesn't take much. You don't have to do much. Just have to keep it real, relax,
Yeah.
have fun.
Like,
And
just play. We just want to hear major chord sound. I don't want to hear no fucking and nine, no fucking
sound
gymnastics.
nice. Just like just relax. And we both agreed on that. We heard the same song. Like how many? Then
Definitely
after
more
that,
than 30 times. Okay.
it was quite great. That's sentiment. I think is what
I mean, that
your
was
question
kind of the
was about.
birth of the Supersonics in a way. Like, that one night. I mean, I was speaking
Yeah.
to Nitin about doing that, but they were playing at Crosswinds. Well, Nitin, I think, was kind of leaving Crosswinds. Chotu was still there, so it was something that I had like kind of pitched to them,
Oh,
kind of
we
because I.
these three. We got these three from Crosswinds because Doi is
Yeah,
also from Crosswinds.
I mean, before Crosswinds, I played with both of them in soundcheck, so technically, no, we didn't get them from Crosswinds.
No, but
But
yeah, I mean, yeah, go on.
But yeah, I mean, I if I had to go back that far, I remember I'd gone to college to the States, and that wasn't gonna happen for me. So I'd come back, and I started this band called Wired with Chuku Shaukat Ali, who's an amazing guitar player and very close friend of mine. And that was a cover band, but with the intent to do original music. And Neil was there. Neil had written a few songs. And then I remember I took a lot of the early Supersonic songs to that band, and for well, whatever reason, that band didn't work out. And after that, after that, I was kind of bored with doing the cover thing, so I've spoken to Chotu about it, but Chotu was with Crosswinds, and Crosswinds being a pretty big band, they were gigging a lot, so he could really commit to the time. Nitin was also there, and I remember that night with Rohan that he's talking about, that kind of really mobilized it in my head because I was like, okay, actually, I have. If I really wanted to make it happen, we have like four people who really want to do the same thing. We were young, we could do it at that point of time where we could give up a lot of things and focus on this. Um, and I remember that night Rohan's talking about very clearly. It's a very fond memory of mine, yeah. And then I remember after that, it didn't happen immediately because I think Nitin quit Crosswinds and Chodu was about to, and speaking to them, and we were like kind of, I mean, pondering how we're gonna do it. And then the best thing about it all is that when we did kind of hook up, we never played a gig for like the first 3 4 months. We just
No,
sat
More than that, I
More.
think it was about 6 months or so that we
yeah,
were just.
6 months. Yeah, just fucking rehearsing every fucking day. And I
every day.
remember Rohan had a job, which he'd tell his mother he's going to, and he'd come to my house in the morning. And then we'd open up the bottle of whiskey at whatever ungodly hour in the morning because he obviously has to go to work in the morning, right? So he'd land up at whatever 9:30, 10 at my house, and then we'd drink till whatever 12, 1, and then we would sit and work out songs together. And then by the time it was rehearsal time, 5 o'clock, the song would be ready. These guys would come, we'd sit, and we were super productive. And actually, to me, those were my most favorite years.
Yeah,
And
I
Yeah.
think what you're saying is very true in terms of like we were just very happy just doing what we were doing, even if it was in Mamshi's house, and thanks to his folks for having that pad and having us play there, because we were just happy to that we at least Nitin and myself would come in the evening, and these guys would have gotten some skeleton of a song ready and presented, and then it could take a complete different
totally
shape
different shape, yeah.
over a span of a
And,
week or so.
and they
And,
are
and
that,
honestly, they were cool about like letting that happen, and it was like so that takes a lot of letting
and
go.
yeah, and the thing is because these two were like Nitin and Shoto were in crosswinds, and Tuki being that monster guitar player, he used to really push these two. So when they joined the Supersonics, they were such a tight unit. Like it was like if we had a skeleton structure of the song, we knew that okay, when Nitin and Shoto come, drums and bass, they won't have to sing. That came together. So whatever ideas they were having would be one, and it was just about kind of finding the right combination. And we'd know. So if a certain groove wasn't working, we'd change it around because they had that thick marriage already sorted out, and it's an important thing in a band. The drums and
It's
bass.
the it's the it's the backbone.
Yeah, it's the rhythm part of the rhythm and melody that's
No,
needed.
but the good
Yeah.
part, but the good part was that we came to a point where we were respectful about the other person's musical space,
Right.
and we were ready to each of us, but individually we were safe, thinking that the person across is going to come with some idea, and I will be able to mold my style into that person's sound, and then
Yeah.
what would come out was our sound. There was
Yeah.
no individual sound.
How
It,
about
it, it was, it was actually I cherish that time as well because what they're saying is like if I could have a musical conversation with Mamshi while playing with Rohan with Nitin, and together we'd be saying something together as well, and we could sort of coexist in that space together peacefully in quotes, but like
music terms?
in a musical space we could all sort of coexist happily in one place, and we've gotten to that zone. It's not like it was always there. We got to that zone where we start people
Work
playing
towards
music.
it.
Yeah, so that's a special thing, at least
Yeah,
for me.
to a point,
Yeah.
to a point where you would bring any idea.
Wow, Rohan.
Oh, that is
Okay.
mute him.
What's happened?
Oh, God.
I think.
Your headphones are noise cancellation, not your mic.
Yeah.
What's
Your mic is
What?
not noise cancellation. No, so
no? I can hear you guys.
No, you
of
can
course
hear
you
me,
can.
but
We can hear a lot of other shit also.
there's
Anyways,
a lot of other sound coming from your pada.
It's
But you
okay.
can't do anything. I'm sure you
ah,
can't go
Yeah.
and tell them to shut that. It's cool.
yeah. So like, what used to happen is that then any tune you bring up, we came to a point that you bring up any tune and we would almost be able to give it the shape of a song by the end of the day. So I have like around 60 songs of the Supersonics, of which only people have heard only 22.
Hmm.
We had like material for another 3 albums at that time. But that, like
Wow.
what
And
Mamshi
and
said,
the and the
yeah,
sort of bottom line was like, if we got to make it sound good in that room for ourselves and feel good about it. That was like the starting point, and then you play it for other people, whether they like it or not is next. But like in that room, we got to feel good about playing it, and that was like a very real experience, which is is different, which you don't get too many times with different people. It's more like, okay, this fits into this genre or this kind of thing, and where it'll work over there. That sort of calculations happen, which is fair. I'm not saying that it shouldn't happen, but in this band situation, it was like we're gonna play loud, we're gonna like bleed our ears, but if it does something for us at that point in time, we're gonna keep it or work on it. Otherwise, fuck it.
Yeah.
And that felt like really real. And you would go back home after rehearsal tired, but like like yeah, we've
Satisfied.
done something. We've
And then
done
we
our
report
best.
the
In
rehearsals.
real world scenario, maybe not, but like you go home feeling happy.
No, I
Mhm.
remember like
yeah,
so
and
we'd record the rehearsals, and I remember like when you're in the moment, kind of a lot of the stuff can just kind of be too much to process. But I remember we'd get the recordings of the rehearsal, and then we'd be like, I mean, for me it was a great help because a lot of the times I didn't have all the lyrics and stuff because the music part wasn't really thing, and a lot of that stuff came, the lyrics came later. And I remember, I mean, the best part for me would be like hearing those recordings and then ideating and building on those, and then the next day's rehearsal we'd be like, okay, I heard this, I heard that in the rehearsal, this was good, this wasn't good, let's scrap that. I've worked out a part here, you worked out. So we kind of built on those songs. I got my cats coming, no silicon, no silicon.
and you know what, Nishit, like
Hmm.
coming back to your thing about like what do you see what happened then and what is happening now. I don't know. There might be very few bands who are willing to rehearse for 6 months every day, write their own songs, and then
Yeah.
want to play. Then come to a
Hmm.
point where they would play again.
No
Like in today's
silicon,
time,
no.
where your content or you have to create every day. That whole investment into creating songs, I don't know how much.
Oh. Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I think also I think now because again with internet, with social media, bands are also they come into this with the pressure that they have to be
Yeah,
of this. They have to produce it at this level. They're
Yeah.
not
right.
they're
Right.
not doing it naturally how it comes naturally with. I mean, maybe I'm just generalizing it too
No,
much,
no, no. You're
but
right.
No.
what I'm saying is like that there is that thought. Okay, I need to make this work. So what should I do? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do all the tick
Yeah,
marks
there's a
of what is right?
preconceived.
Yeah,
There's a preconceived idea
Yeah.
there
which
to
is
be. Yeah, which is I don't know. It's a little unrealistic to
Yeah.
feel it.
I also think
It's
a
a bit
lot of it
ridiculous.
has to do with age. When you're young, I think it's more easier and comfortable to get into
yeah,
these spaces and stuff
for
because
sure.
the world is open. You don't have the pressure of maybe we were all, other than Nitin, who was already a geezer by then, but we were all in college and shit, dude. Like, and at that point of time, you're not trying to do anything other than have a good time and have fun. I think that whole having fun aspect, it has to. I mean, when you make new art, trying to have fun, I think people who enjoy and appreciate the art will also feel that in some way.
Yeah,
Also, yeah, like what Mamshi is saying is because we did it just because we like to do it, and there's no other reason. is the same reason why people like it also, because they get that same vibe and energy from the band.
Yeah.
That these guys really don't care. I mean, we are playing and we are oblivious of the fact who's there, who's not there. Because for us, it's just like we move from the rehearsal room cage, but what we do hasn't changed. Nothing has changed. What we do in the studio, I mean, at rehearsal, is literally exactly what we do on stage. There's no difference. Like
Yeah.
we're talking shit between songs, and someone's having a drink, someone's gone somewhere, like So there's no difference at all,
Yeah,
and that kind of resonates well because there's no bullshit. There is no
Mm.
bullshit. It's
yeah,
just this is it.
and there was
Take it, don't take it.
another thing which I think, which I found different in a lot of setups that I've played with um, after, is the listening thing. Like, we were sort of listening to each other a lot more than we wanted to listen to ourselves, and that's a great place to be playing from, because if you're playing only to listen to yourself, then you might as well play in your house by yourself.
Which
But
is which is doing now.
yeah,
Exactly, which is
and
what's
it's,
happening right now.
and
Which
I've
Exactly.
suddenly
been
backing
I've been
track
I've played
and
gigs with people, and it's like, okay, I'm playing my shit all right. You must be doing your thing all right. I don't really know. You're on the same fucking stage. That's your job, to play together. I mean,
Yeah.
but I mean, it happens. If you're playing professionally, there will be situations like that. But if that's the default, or if that's like the standard, then there's no joy left in it, or like, it's, yeah. But that was
Yeah.
always the case. Like, we were always listening to each other, and we were excited about listening to what the other person's doing, even if it's the same song, you're playing it
I
at a
mean, there
different
were
key.
there were like jokes, like there were private jokes, like say Nitin's doing something, Chodu and I have a joke which we'll crack, and Nitin's going to deliver every time. He's going to do something which he does every time, which we
Mm.
don't, and we'll observe it, and when he does it, we'll be like, there, he's doing.
Yeah,
This
we are.
something I don't know, I don't remember, but like everyone
Yeah,
has their
yeah,
own
yeah.
quirks, no,
Right.
and
Yeah.
everyone notices it, and like maybe I'll do something, notices and like check it what he's doing it again. So these
Which
things.
sounds very simple, like it's just about like listening to each other, but that doesn't happen in so many gigs that I've done, and it's still shocking to me that, like, you're on the same stage, you're supposed to be making music together, but like, you just don't hear what the other people are playing, and that's like, it's like in a conversation, if you're it's a monologue, then it's not like a conversation.
Mm.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
so, so, if you had to give a piece of advice to the younger bands,
Oh
what
shit.
would
Don't
that be?
wank.
Huh? What?
If you
Don't
have to
wank.
give,
No fucking hear you practice on stage, bitch. Stay at home.
so what, like, what all of y'all
Don't be in
can,
a band.
don't be a band.
Yeah.
No, or
Especially
Don't
be in
lose
a
the
band.
day job.
Be in a band. Actually, be in a band because it will teach you so many things which you don't get to learn. You need
But
to be
you
in
know
a
what?
band.
What's the
Actually,
cool thing? What I learned before I got to the Supersonics, and fortunately, I was playing with musicians who were always like inspiring or better than me, or like somebody that you wanted to listen to while you were on stage or playing with them, and that really makes you like listen out a lot harder, and that was like a great learning. Like, for example, playing with Tuki and Nitin in Crosswinds, it was like you would always listen out for what they were doing, because there was stuff happening that would keep you interested. And as long as you like are listening, I mean, what you play will be what you play, and it will develop and all of that shit. But like, gotta get out of your own like butt crack.
Yeah,
I think.
I would like to advise that like enough of this online. Like, I mean, as long as you have to do it, you have to do it. But that practicing music with each other online, or like have an online gig or whatever. Like, we are doing it because there's no choice. But get a room, guys, and play and play your own songs.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Get a rehearsal room, you mean, that kind of thing, not
Yeah.
like hotel
So
room.
very, very, I'm
Actually, the
very
truth
close to
is,
what I meant also.
we also had the freedom to fucking play all out in my
Yeah,
home
that is
place.
true.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's a huge
Rehearsal
one, man.
packs suck, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very uninspiring. I did that a couple. I mean,
No, we've been
after,
very lucky. We've been
yeah.
Yeah.
unreasonably lucky.
Yeah.
So I would
Yeah.
not take luck away. I mean, as much as
Luck is,
there
yeah,
is,
yeah.
as much as all four of us were very happy and loved doing what we did, there was also a lot of good luck.
Yes,
Of
yes.
course, of course. And lots of love to Debol and Sharmila for allowing us
Oh,
to
withstanding the
rehearse.
force.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're suffering
And
from PTSD now.
that's a huge one, actually. Being able to rehearse comfortably without,
For
and
sure.
No, no,
Yeah,
we
that's
if
a
you're
played
huge
all out.
one.
In
agreed
fact,
to,
I maintain that sound in that room. I mean, we used
yeah,
to try and chase that sound at gigs, very honest, because we were used to that, and it was such a it was a small room
And
with a
no, we got it also. We got it done. Like even at live gigs, we didn't sound anything.
yeah. But it's a very important thing, man, because I mean, if you may have the best song, but then you're playing it in a shitty environment and it sounds like shit, it becomes uninspiring, and you're not going to
In
go
fact,
anywhere.
in fact, once we had gone for a gig where we set up and all, and then this guy comes and says like, "When are you guys starting?" And Nitin said, "We're going to start now." And then this guy shuts the door and locks us in.
We were the only ones.
we're,
That was that.
Yeah.
They locked us in. Yeah.
we're in the
That's
room.
when
It was a
that's
bunch
when
of
you were
drunk
working on Rag Lalita, if you remember.
we played a set of an hour and a half of our own songs to just
Yeah.
of our own
tables and
scale.
chairs.
Wow.
Yeah,
They invented a rag there, so it was
and to
magical.
yeah, tables and chairs we played it. But those are all fun things.
That guy
Only
just
when
locked us there, man.
yeah,
He
only
locked
when
us
it
in that
works.
room.
Yeah, so
We've come a
And
long
then
way.
So have we?
we are locked in our own rooms. We've come a long way. Now we are locked in our own rooms.
All rooms.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
when we finished, though, we had to knock, like get us out of there, like knock, like someone came and opened the door, and then
No,
we went
we
home.
wanted those fucking club gigs with a fucking sponsor and shit. So the clubs weren't really interested, basically. And then they just kind of blocked us and they're like, oh God, you're going to put a record.
We actually played Rag Lalita for like I don't
Yes.
know how long. Nitin
No,
Nitin came with the.
I also remember there's a CCNFC gig we played, and then the guy was like, "It's too fucking loud." So then I kept putting my amp down, 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 and then he's no, it's too loud. So finally I put the volume to 0, and then on an electric guitar, that sound. He's like, "Yeah, this is the right volume."
Then Moxie started turning the volume of the drums down. He said, on an imaginary knob, he kept turning the knob down and said, "Are the drums getting softer?" And as long as Moxie turned the knob, that guy kept believing that the volume of the drums was
Yeah, it's gone down now. It's gone down. They're all
man.
sorts of fucktards, man. All those.
I think we can write a small booklet a few years later about our experiences. There's enough material.
I'm sure.
Oh, what was the name
Oh
of
man,
that you were writing, Rohan? Who wants to be?
Why be
Why
the
work hard?
smartest? Why? Well, no. Why be the smartest?
no, why
When you
why
can have
think when
fun.
you can have why think at all when you can have a good time?
Yeah.
Or was it that something as it was?
Something like that. That's basically Rohan's epitaph.
Who wants
Everyone
to work when
had
you can
a-
have? Who wants
everyone
to work when you
had
can
a
have fun?
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, there were
So-
good times actually. A lot of good
Um,
times.
so tell me now, like obviously music, a lot of the big stars are now the EDM, electronica, pop stars. I mean, uh, the rock and roll stars or the rock and roll era, is it over? Is it rock and roll
Yes.
dead?
No, it's
Yes.
not over. Why is it over?
Yes. It's over. It's over. For that to happen, you need people to fucking live their lives like that. Rock and roll isn't just going and
Ah.
playing those chords and songs. You need to be that person. You live that life. You fucking think like that, eat like that, shit like that, fuck like that. If you can't fucking eat your dal bhat and then fucking go play rock and roll, dude, your mom's feeding you panta bhat and then next day you're going fucking, it doesn't work. And now it's harder to do that because we're an intolerant society right now. This whole woke cancel shit, dude. You can't have an opinion. Rock and roll is also about a lot of being very opinionated. You can like it, dislike it, but I think that freedom of speech is kind of slowly being taken away from us. And I don't think in that space any real rock and roll can happen. It'll just be contrived bullshit. So
Mm.
I'm
But yeah, I mean, like whatever we call rock and roll, like I mean, if it's a good song, you've written a good song and made a good song. I mean, honestly, with a good group of people or on your own or whatever, like at the end of the day, if it's honestly done and it's a good song, you really work hard at it. I'm sure there are people to listen to it. I mean, I'm,
I
Yeah,
how
don't
you
people
know.
are
get it
definitely
across,
listening to good song, but I
yeah,
think
how you
what
get across them is different.
yeah, but as in we don't see those rock stars, as you say, anymore,
Ah,
Rock stars won't happen anymore. I mean,
right?
that shit was anyway bullshit, but like to be fair,
Hmm.
but like I said, I mean, those see with the internet and social media, the whole element of mystery is gone, right? I mean, if you think about it, today you don't want to fucking see Mick Jagger fucking shoving dhoklas in his mouth, dude. But some fucking take a picture of that. That's not very rock star at all. You know, we lived
Hmm.
in an age where you know everything, where that person is, what he's doing, how, and then suddenly the mystery and mistake behind all of that is gone,
This is true. I
and you're
agree with
left with
What
just a
is the
normal
idea of Mick Jagger and a dhokla? I didn't get that.
with
Listen,
those lips.
Chodu. Listen, Chodu. We played a gig at that Dhokla.
so if his
Haldiram.
dokla
Wow.
At
was
Gujia, bro.
Haldiram.
Let's
Yeah,
forget that
I
shit.
love Gujia.
if the dokla was
Haldiram's.
if the dokla was
Haldiram's.
sweet, would it be big jaggery? Anyways,
Yes,
No,
yes.
I know. I would like see. The thing is, like, there are bands right now. Also, okay. Like, I know my cousin's band is there, Pelican Shuffles. Okay, they are pretty hardcore about doing music like traditionally. Like, meet for rehearsals, bring real. I mean, traditional, not real, but like bring traditional instruments, play really loud, have a spirit of like write good songs, have meaning to it. Just don't write rubbish. So it's there. I won't say
It's
it's not
Yeah,
there,
there.
I mean, of
but
course, it'll always be there. There will
yeah,
always be sex of people, but for it to prosper and thrive and be successful, you need all of the other shit around it to
Yeah,
kind
I
of.
think I think it takes just that one band to again do something slightly bigger than what is happening right now. Just one will start and then again it'll all start falling into place.
Yeah,
You know,
to get to that point, though, I think is harder now.
possible,
It's not yet.
yeah, possible,
yeah, I
yeah.
think things
That is.
have definitely changed. People have evolved into different beings. So
I
That's
mean, I
also been
mean, it's become more egotistical. It's become more about I than us, or
that's all.
collective.
and
So,
also from a sorry,
no, go
go
on.
on. No, I'm saying also from like a listener's point of view, because today every song is at a tap, at a click, you can scrub here, there. When people listen to the first 10 seconds of the song, if it doesn't interest them, they skip.
Yeah,
But back in the day, as a listener, you paid money for that album, which was a lot, 500 bucks for a CD or whatever. And the thing is, even if you didn't like it, you'd listen to it. And because you paid that much money, and then after you listen to it one time, after two times, instead of trying to get what you expect from the music, you go into the artist's headspace and see what they're trying to do and get an appreciation for what they've done from their point of view, which opens you up. I mean, right now, if I hear an album and I start a song, and the first 10 seconds aren't doing it, we're all likely to skip, go next, shuffle, playlist.
yeah,
So what we're trying to do is we're kind of now looking for things that going to satisfy our ideas of what we like, rather than going into, oh, this guy's doing this, and maybe I don't like it at the beginning, but after a few years, I'm like, holy shit, this is something completely different. I know that, like, for most of the big bands that we love and listen to, the most famous songs on those albums are actually, I find them to be the weakest ones, like the hit songs, because yeah, those are the ones to draw you in. But if you listen to the rest of the album, keeping that in mind, and
no
you
one
dwell,
listens to albums anymore.
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. That's the thing. So, I mean, that's a very, because then as an artist, you're forced to appease and create. I mean, I refuse to do that, but I can understand if you want to make it and you want to survive right now.
Hmm.
Do that, because there's just so much shit and so easily available. You don't, if
Also,
something.
like we live in the time where if you have a phone, you can create music. You just need you can create music. So what's happening is your actual skill on an instrument is becoming lesser and lesser. You know,
Yes, of
most
course.
most of our songs, Supersonic songs, I think all our songs that are on the album are played live in the studio.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
they're
recorded
recorded. I mean, there are over, but in essence, the entire song has to be played from the beginning till the end as is. You know,
No, BT
and there
makes
is
you
no
do
like yeah,
massive
may cut.
performance. What's his thing?
So
I
I'm
think
happy about that because it means that you guys are good enough to hold a song together in the studio where there's a lot of pressure. You know, when you that red lights on, it's actually quite intimidating. And then you play the whole song flawlessly,
And
selectively. You
once
know,
you once
skill
you've done
set
it
is
like
dying.
yeah, once you've done it like 17 to 18 times, and then you're on stage, you're playing it like butter. Then
Yeah,
you're
Hmm.
not even
it's
you're not listening to yourself. You're listening to what the others are doing, and you're feeding off that.
I mean, now you can just cut, paste, and shove something here, take out something. I don't like this
Hmm.
part, remove it. You know, I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It might open up something for some. Your skill set is actually going down because you can't really hold your idea that long to create something substantial. It's always about cutting something and pasting something there, and like
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, of
it's
course,
just
the
it
whole
has
skill aspect of it to be good enough to deliver that every time properly
yeah.
pushes the music on the whole to become better. When you have shortcuts, what happens is that you start thinking about the details and stuff, and that I think degrades the quality of what's being made.
I think what was cool when we were working with Miti, the studio as well as when like before that, especially at the studio actually was that it was very cool recording a performance, like he's capturing a performance. It's and that performance was four of us playing together. At least the basic,
Yeah,
bare bones of the song was like four of us playing together, and that he's capturing the vibe of that performance. A lot of like players I've played with later. Uh, yes, we'll fix it in the recording. We can perfect it, which is all cool. Which needs to be done as well. There needs to be a certain level of playing and clarity and all of that. But more than that, people connect with the vibe, with the overall thing. It's like the intangibles within that live performance of four people playing together that gets across to people. It's not about the perfection of the notes or that only. There is obviously a need for that,
In
but what
fact,
we're
I
trying
have
to
a funny
capture as a
story.
band
Well,
is like the vibe of
once what Chodu said is bang on, to a point where both Mamshi and I, we love the overdubs so much. We only played the overdubs during our
live.
live gigs, and the band is horrible because there's
there's no
no rhythm going on.
fucking rhythm guitar going. You
There's
guys are
nothing.
playing these beautiful lines on top of it.
Yeah, it sounds horrible. It sounds awful. And then Nitin called us backstage and like, I've had it with you guys. Can you stop playing the overdubs? So
No, and there was, and because we used to play record live, there were a lot of bass lines which I played at that point of time, and I found it difficult to. I had to actually make an effort to pick up those lines to play live, because it was not a pleasant thing. They were
Right.
they were the overdub kings actually.
in,
Right.
in fact,
I mean,
because
to
we were
that
playing the overdubs,
we didn't do much overdubs on maybe we recorded maybe baking in 9 days, 11 songs in 9 days. There wasn't really much time to
yeah.
overdub. But heads up, we
No,
had that
in fact, when
to
we
do
when we
that.
started playing the overdubs for the live gigs, someone I don't know who it was suggested that we play with tracks. Okay, we tried playing with tracks also for a
Hmm.
very short, while, very short while
They were
because we got fed
percussion
up of it.
tracks, so they weren't
No, no, there were a lot of things over
No, no,
there.
there was no
no
melody stuff on
there
it.
was no melody in
So
them.
what happened is even that kind of uh, to play the farm every time, and we hate that
Hmm.
because
So
in
once you
essence,
play to a click on the track, then you lose the entire vibe.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's what
and
so made some
in
people
essence,
like
actually, Supersonics is like pretty much a jam band. You know, we don't really we have structures for songs, but the parts
Yeah,
inside the song, no one has a fixed like, you know, we play this or this.
thing that we play. I mean,
You know,
we'd
so
all try shit out on stage differently. I think that was
there's
the
always that room to.
great. Jam Steady at that point, more, I mean, obviously being a platform and all of that, but for me, it was like, look, we get to play our songs and we have the freedom to do whatever the fuck we
Yeah.
want. That means make new, because, the thing is when you put in an audience, okay, and there's that
That's why we. That's
expectation
why
that
we got drunk. Because we
yeah,
could
for sure.
do whatever
And
we
a
want.
lot of times it doesn't work like any great jam band,
Hmm.
because when you're delving into that unknown territory, sometimes you're going to come up with shit which is the hook for the song when you go into the studio, and sometimes, a lot of times, it's going to be crap. But, Jam Steady gave us that sort of thing where, there was, nothing really to be a standard to be compared to. So we were just like fucking free, man. And it was great, man. I mean, like I said, those were I mean, we did a lot of big gigs and a lot of those huge fucking stages and shit. But if I have to like really think about when I had the most fun, it was that time. And seeing like it would start with maybe friends and family, and then
Hmm.
more people, and then the next week it's like 50 people, and then the next week it's like 300 people, and then then it's gone realistic, and and you see that happening, and all you're doing is just having a good time. I think that entire experience is great, because the second you're not having a good time, or now you think you have to perform in a
Yeah.
certain way, and there's expectations, and all of that suddenly slowly starts depleting that energy. And the bigger things get, obviously, like that stuff creeps in. Like we used to play. I don't think we were very good at any of those festivals. I mean, Zero was good, but I think those weekend gigs were really shitty because we couldn't sound check. You had 40 minutes. 40 minutes is like 6, 7 songs. Like by the
Hmm.
time we warmed up kind of to really get into the zone, the gig was over. We came from a time we were playing 2.5 hour gigs.
Yeah.
So the
Hmm.
first hour would probably be shit, but you're just getting used to the whole scene. We're human beings. And the last bit was great because we are in that zone and everyone's in it, and that's fun. But yeah, man, like I don't know how those scenes can exist anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There are not
It's
enough
difficult.
venues or platforms that'll offer that to bands. There are not enough
Yeah,
bands doing that either. It's a co-dependent relationship on that in that
absolutely.
sense. So I can't just say that, oh, there are no bands, or oh, there are no promoters. All of that shit kind of happens.
It's all, yeah, it's all
It's all
interconnected.
kind of, yeah, interconnected. So
Absolutely.
yeah, man.
So even like last, like when we started Topcat,
Yeah,
so I was very happy that now we have like our own venue in that sense, because we kind of built it together with Megdut and all that. But the struggle was where to now. I mean, the bands are not there anymore. I mean, most of them have moved out. I mean, there were other bands, but the bands we kind of started off with, or we built our scene with,
yeah,
they are not there now. I mean, to kick off a scene from zero is again very hard, right?
yeah,
So that was very challenging. And now also, obviously, after the pandemic is whenever the scene is going to come, in whatever form, I don't know. This is still a challenge. We are trying to do stuff with younger bands, to do little open mics and little, 2, 3 bands together, like what Rohan was saying, where a lot of people came actually. Uh, but it is still quite challenging. I mean, I don't know if it is actually very sustainable, to be honest, unless
it's
you
not.
mix it up with many things.
Yeah, there's also the other thing, Nishit, that at that time, everything was new. Okay, even the whole
Hmm.
original music band scene was new. If you think
Hmm.
about it right now, people are like, well, that's been done, and now we want to. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's hard to capitalize on anything because now you don't have enough bands. It's not new and interesting. There's not enough new venues doing it. Forget the money aspect of all of that and
Yeah.
motivation and stuff behind all of that. I mean, yeah, I mean that's the reason though. I think world over the whole band scene is dwindling, and we can say that yeah, it'll never die and all, but I'm telling you, it's not at that level because it doesn't make sense for a promoter to invest their time in music,
Mm.
invest their time, and people to invest into something which no one and neither the promoter or the musicians are invested in. It's off, so that whole marriage is kind of broken up, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I
I
don't know.
agree.
I would like to be optimistic and
Yeah,
say, but I'm not really. I'm a fucking cynical, pessimistic guy. I think it's all gone to hell. I
mm.
think maybe this is an
I wouldn't have
evolution
ever
of
guessed,
music.
man. Thanks for clarifying that shit. Who would have guessed? You're cynical?
No, but I
Uh,
mean, yeah, I mean, it can. I think some cynicism is great to have also because you're grounded in some form of reality on some level. Because I don't want to tell a kid right now, don't finish college like I didn't. Okay,
mm.
put your life in the hands of a rock and roll band and throw it all away
Throw it
like
all away.
say. Yeah, it's true, man. Like, I mean, I can't really say that. Fuck, man. Get together with your friends, do a band. Well, Nitin's had
Oh
Oh
enough.
shit.
shit.
What happened?
Nitin has left the band.
Yeah, but it doesn't work like that. I mean, I can't really with any confidence say that to any young kid right now.
Mm.
And
No, but
it's
but you know what I will say is that
Yeah.
you need to go through all that. If you like music, you need to be able to put your life in the hands of other people. You need to be able to do that because unless you don't do that, you will not know what it is to like I can't explain this. You need to do that actually. You need to sort of go through that, like feel
I
it
mean,
collectively, ups and
if
downs,
you were
whatever the
saying,
market.
Rohan, that like disappointment, heartbreak,
It's not disappointment, man.
poverty is something
It,
people have to go through to
it's not
understand how.
disappointment. Like like your perspective of music is so much more richer than had we not had the band. Right now we have that. Like I know, like I'm speaking
Well,
for all the guys here. Like when a song goes out, I know how much everyone is involved in what is going on. When it does well, I know how much everyone feels happy also. Or
but
when it
Rohan,
doesn't do well, I also know.
you're speaking from the perspective of someone who's made some music in a situation which is whatever fairly successful. There are a lot of bands that don't get it. They're not as lucky as us who've not
Nitin's back.
not done that. And I don't know for a lot of
No,
bands.
uh, I mean, a lot of the luck is what you make out. Okay, if you channel your energy towards a certain thing, it happens. It generally happens. So we did that, which is why a lot of things happened for us. It's not like just things fell in like on our laps just like that. We did a lot
No,
of things for those things to happen.
for
You
sure.
know.
But like at
So
the same
I would
time,
say, like, I would definitely tell people to do it, like, because it's important. It's damn important. Like, it shapes your like perspective on life. Actually, it's definitely done for me. And like, I have students right now. I have like actually I have over 50 students right now. Okay, and
Mm.
it's really tiring, but I love it. You know why? Because these guys, they ask me these stories. What did you do in your band? What happened here? What did you And I have so much to tell them only because I went through all this. And
Also,
these
yeah,
guys look up to
yeah,
that. They look up to that. They
yeah.
really look up to that.
Also, I know. I mean, it would be great if a band can just in India to survive, just play music and you know make things work. But unfortunately, it's not the case.
no,
So
no.
you'll have to
I
do
mean,
other things as
yeah.
I,
well.
I
You'll
can
have to
speak
be a bit smart.
for, yes, I can
You know?
speak for myself. I can't speak for everyone here, but I can
Yeah.
tell you that, see, when I started the Supersonics, I had come away from college from the States, and I was doing college here in Cal, I mean, there in Cal. And I stopped doing that because I was like, I'm going to fucking do this thing with this band and change the world. And I made some very stupid juvenile decisions which today I kind of regret because I should have gotten that degree. I should have had some plan Bs and plan Cs in place. And today it's hard. I mean, Rohan, I also teach and I have around 25 kids I teach. And it's great seeing that joy and seeing all of that. But then I also think about, if I look at my trajectory in life, and I think that, well, do I really want a child to, be struggling all throughout because of the little joys that they got from, not little joys, big joys, and maybe the understanding? It's a tough one, man. Some people can say yes, but I think on the whole, and especially now that the scene has gotten way worse than what it was when we started. I mean, right now there are no bands, there is no infrastructure, there's no gigs, we're in a fucking pandemic. It's not even cool anymore. Guitar music's not cool, it's not commercially viable. So it's hard for me to say, hey man, like, fuck your studies, fuck your career, concentrate only on band and do it. I can't say that. If I really am thinking about the well-being of that kid, I can't really advise that. I mean, it's a perspective I have, maybe as someone who's failed at what he's kind of done. I mean, I don't fucking, I'm not like making money out of my music and living off of it. Now I'm hustling, and yeah, I'm not hustling, I'm teaching, and what they say about teaching, well, we can't do teach and whatever. So, and it's not the way I envisioned it all when, I started, way
No,
back.
things like for yeah, okay, I
It's,
understand what
I
you're
think
saying.
it's also different for different people, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. The
Mm.
Yeah,
thing is
sure.
like if you really want to continue doing what you've chosen to do, you will somehow make it happen if it is going to be that important in your life. Like it, for me, I don't see myself doing anything else. Okay, music is going to be the only thing which I'm going to do because I'm good at it. I've given it a lot of time, and now I'm at a place where I know I can't play live too much, so I'm teaching for the time that I can. Once the situation changes, I'm going to go back and play gigs. Only difference now will be I don't need those gigs like I did earlier. Now
Mm.
it'll be just because I want to play. So I've set myself up in a place where I'm not missing out if I don't make it by playing a gig or not playing. It doesn't make any difference to me anymore. But having playing a gig, that feeling is something which cannot be replaced by something else. So for
Right.
me, that feeling of playing live with people cannot you can remove that ever. That is why music in the first place. And that joy for me
Mm.
is still there. That joy, like I played with Nitin. We have a cover band. We have it in I don't feel you know
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree actually. I mean, I think it is about personal choices. Obviously, end of the day, and whether like if you are teaching music or you're teaching something else, and you can still do the music that you like. I mean,
yeah,
I think it's still a good place to be in. I mean, as long as the pressure to survive
is
playing
not
just
on the
music,
music.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it affects your mental well-being and your performance and all the things around it, then I think you're okay, because let's face it, we are not in a very great situation in terms of gigs and that whole environment. So these are the ideal situations, and if you can find ways to make it
Yeah.
work for you, I think that is great. So, I mean, we are coming to a close to our conversation. So, I think we'll round it up by saying some whatever last messages, last notes. We can continue talking later on a personal level, but for this one, whatever last everything. Chotu, if you want to say something, uh,
I'd say
whatever.
just stay well, stay healthy, everybody, and like yeah, if we can actually meet in person in this lifetime, then I'll see you when I get there. Until then,
Yeah, like Mamshi was saying, I think you guys are also catching up after many years, like together,
Yeah.
four of y'all.
yeah.
Three,
Last
three,
six, I
three
think,
of us,
seven.
three of us
I
met.
think last time, yeah, three of us met. Choru wasn't there, but I think this was since Jamsteady, that
Two
big
years, two,
Sunday thing.
2, 3 years ago we
Wow,
met last.
I don't think we've all spoken together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
crazy.
First time
So
in
we had
seven
met together.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when was
Not
that big
not seven.
Sunday?
We met
15,
Nitin's
2015.
house just before Chotu left.
Oh,
Yeah.
All
Once.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
We had met in
I would
Nitin's
like to
house.
say,
About
like, yeah, I would like to say, like, if there are any new kids, like, I mean, everything is there, pandemic is there, this is there, that is there. Try to make your own songs and don't, like, make it like a pressure that you have to create music and survive on some social media. Maybe that can be the start of something, a change. Let's hope.
Hmm. Cool. Vamshi, anything you want to end with when we'll say goodbye?
No, I mean, very honestly, I would love for, shit to get going again. And
Yeah.
I mean, with all my cynicism, I do know that there are people like Rohan who are going to keep persisting, people like you, and, that's what's the kind of gives hope to everything. So, as much as I'll tell a kid not to fucking join a rock and roll band, I'll tell you geezers to keep at it. So, fucking, but yeah, man, and I really wish. I mean, to be honest, this pandemic has really made me realize a lot of things, especially when it comes to people and relationships. And
Yeah.
like I'm saying, this conversation with all four of us and now you hasn't happened in so many years, and maybe it
Yeah,
wouldn't have happened if we were also busy, caught up with our
yeah,
lives, to the point where we've forgotten all of this stuff. So maybe there is a good in all of this, and
Hmm.
I hope that things can happen for everyone. I
It
hope
might just take 4 people to change things again.
it's kind of hard for that to happen now. So
if you look at it the other way, it took a pandemic for these four people to get on a call.
Yeah,
yeah,
I was meaning us. There might be other 4 people.
yeah. So yeah, so it goes to show right now. So no, that's so. I mean, I do hope for the best, and I think it can happen. It's not impossible, but
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I also think it can definitely happen.
you guys keep going at it, man.
Rohan,
What about? I
Rohan,
have to also say something.
No,
please.
you don't have to.
You don't have to. You can say
You
bye.
say it best when you say nothing at all.
I mean, oh yeah. No, I would say just like I know things are difficult and things will always be difficult or they'll always keep getting worse or whatever. But
Hmm.
unless you don't start somewhere, they always will get difficult. The moment you start, it stops getting difficult. You start the motion, and the more you do it, the difficulty becomes lesser and lesser till there are no difficulties. You learn to roll. So
True, true.
Rohan,
just
Rohan said the most prophetic thing at the end of
Yeah.
it. Come on.
it's
I think I'll.
but it's
I think I'll listen to some Supersonics today, after a long, long time.
no, it just yeah, I would say just do it and like really go for it. Don't think twice about what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. Because any having a bad time, so why so worried? So it's
That
not
new
like
book, anyone's having a bad time, so
Don't
why
think
worry?
twice.
yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, it's
like
not like anyone's.
Ganguli now.
It's not like anyone's having a great time anyway. So why make it worse? Do it, do it properly. Catch
Another
some
book
friends.
that came for you.
Catch some friends. Make a band. Make some noise. Piss your neighbors off. That's more fun.
True.
It's actually a
Awesome.
lot more fun.
What about you, Nitin? What do you,
So,
Nishit? What do you think? What are your last words?
oh,
Also, Nitin, did he say?
No, no, I said.
Nitin
Let me
started.
finish.
Oh
Nitin
yeah, he
said.
did. Yeah, yeah. The
I mean,
screen keeps like
I'm actually, in some way, hopeful. Definitely that given my experience with the, like I said, just before the second wave, we were doing those gigs, and it really opened. Like, in fact, the first one we announced was with Rohan and Rohan's band and another band. It's like an all blues gig, and we
oh
did
yeah,
not sell enough
Mel
tickets.
Sam Mel's
And Rohan was like, let's do the gig. I remember we had that kind of a
yeah
conversation. And
yeah
I said,
yeah
no,
yeah
let's not do the gig. Let's tell people we will not do the gig if you're not going to buy tickets. So,
yeah that's true.
we just cancelled it. And from the next gig onwards, people took us a little more serious, probably. So the effect kind of, I mean, Rohan's band had to take all of that shit, but it
The
actually
brunt.
worked in our
No,
favor.
the thing is like we had planned to do the event for 50 people, okay, and
Yeah.
we had sold half the tickets, 25. But
Yes.
here's the
That's
shocker:
right.
the tickets were 2,200 each.
Yes.
So there were 22 people or 25 people who ended up buying those tickets for
Yeah.
2,200 bucks each.
Which is
You know,
quite cool,
so
right?
That's
so
pretty.
the, I was like, yeah, it's there are
Then
people who
keep
do.
going. There's more money you would have made with 150 people not paying anything for the
You
gigs.
see what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
exactly.
so like it's not like
Exactly.
it's not end all be all, man. I think
So I'm trying these. In fact, I don't want to call it an experiment really, but because it's like, what do we have to lose right now? We're not doing any gigs anyway. Let's try some things and see how we can do different things with people and test. So some of things really work. In fact, there was a new band which got in touch with us, absolutely new, and that I don't even remember the band's name now, because the guy called me. He's like, I want to perform at Topcat. I said, but you will have to sell 50 tickets. That's the only challenge. So I know I was being hard on him to do that, but I was like, I want to try. I want to see what it
No,
does. It,
that's good. That's a motivation. I mean, if someone
yeah,
went up to you and said, "Give me a gig," and you gave them a gig, they didn't have to work for it. They didn't have. We had to fucking make posters, invite friends,
yeah,
family, fucking make sure, call people, spam people, just to have them come. It's a fucking, that was a lot. In fact, that
yeah,
was harder than the making music part, and that's
exactly,
equally important part of the entire thing, man. So I
absolutely.
think that's a great way of going about it. Get 50 people to come, you'll get your gig.
Yeah,
Simple.
and they
Fine.
did. They did.
Yeah.
They made the band's name that time. They didn't have
Yeah.
a band name. They
Yeah.
created a name. They pushed it hard. Just
Yeah.
one day before, there were about 30, 35 tickets. I said, guys, you can do it. You
Yeah.
can do it. And they sold about 45. I said, let's do the show. And
Yeah.
they were also happy, man. Our first gig, there are 45 people who paid for our show and come and watch.
That's
So
great.
much
And
motivation.
like
That's
when you have
44
people
more people
coming
for our
together,
first gig.
when people come to, and our first gig was fully packed with it was a Princeton gig.
That's
It
true.
was fully
Yeah.
packed.
Oh,
No, the thing is,
yeah.
what's that?
Yeah.
The first gig
No,
was at
so
Subway.
was it? I don't remember. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was at
But that was a pack gig. But I was
It
friends
was
with
a pack. Yeah. So no, the thing is like what Nishit just said. No, like all it takes 40, 50 people to join and like have a good time. Once that happens, and like everyone values the time that now to everyone's like locked in. So when you get a taste of that, you'll want that again
Yeah.
because you don't have it.
So I
It's
think
pretty cool.
I think there will be. I mean, the scene with the electronica DJ scene, all that is always going to happen and blow up, or maybe it will also come down, because I feel that is kind of coming down, because especially now with the pandemic, that music doesn't make any sense, right? I mean, you need to be in a big room with that loud noise to be able to enjoy that kind of music.
Right.
At home, you won't have the same feeling. But
Imagine listening to that music alone at home.
that's
That
what.
was
Yeah, exactly. But I feel there will be very like smaller, more concentrated, more interested groups of people who will come for gigs for what they like. Like,
Just make
if
make sure
someone
the
really likes rock and roll music, they will come for that, because it
And
will
in
become
fact,
more
we did
filtered, I feel.
in Skinny Mo's it was I think
Yeah,
just during that October time when lockdown had just eased up a little bit.
yeah,
Like big family had got called for a private gig at about
yeah,
25, 30 people or something like that there. Man, I'm not kidding you. I was like, you're treated like rock and roll stars over there. Those 25 people. There's no staff for it. That they treat you so nicely, and you're like, wow, I am like this you right now because the way the energy that I'm getting from the people because they're starved for it, you know.
mm.
And when you give that to them, they're like over the moon, man. They enjoy it.
Yeah. There is definitely some silver lining. Let's see. We are all
I mean, it's a
trying,
it's
and
a power. It's power we
yeah,
wield. We wield this power in our hands.
yeah.
So
Yep.
it's a very cool thing. It's
So yeah,
very very
that's
cool.
about it. I think. Yeah, I think we've gone. This has been our longest session,
Oh
but
shit.
it's been great, because the other sessions, it's been a little more like I've been trying to talk about bringing value to people, like in terms of what to do, this, that, talking about NFTs and talking about content and this and that. This has been more like friends and all of us
organic.
getting together. Yeah. So it was.
Can you hear that?
What's happening? Yeah, what's
Yeah.
happening? I've heard that before.
Yeah,
It's the basically it's the music at the wake in memory of the obituary was sent. Now it's the wake.
Chalo,
Man.
cool.
But
So
like more power to you, Nishit. Like you've
Yeah,
been
thanks,
like
man.
pushing it along for the longest time, and you're still hopeful and pushing it along. Like, big up to
Just
you. More power to you.
look out for bands who don't play Hotel California.
Yes.
For sure. It's
And
a
in fact, if you do see them, run them over.
that's the plan.
Wow,
No,
with
no,
all the missing, Rohan's muted.
Damn, we needed this in the band.
In Chalo. All right, guys. I'll
Chalo.
see you soon. Catch you guys soon. It was really good catching up.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
See you, man. Take care, everyone.
Soon.
Bye.
Bye.
See you
Bye.
guys. Bye.
Bye.
How do I end this?